What are verbs? Well, for an easy definition, verbs are words that show actions, or they're words that identify what a noun is doing. It doesn't have to be so difficult, but what I have found is with regards to nouns, adjectives, and verbs, verbs are generally some of the more difficult parts of a sentence that students have had difficulties with. But it doesn't have to be that way, because if you think about it, all the time we are doing verbs. Right now I'm talking. Talk is a verb. When I've learned different languages, it's very important to understand the verbs of any language in order to be able to speak the language. And what makes verbs or understanding verbs so difficult for students, I think, is the fact that we speak. When we speak, we don't necessarily pay attention to what we're using and what we're doing. So verbs can be difficult for that process. But pay attention, keep learning with me, and we will wrestle this problem, I guess you could say. Now, as you see, we have examples of verbs. We have run, walk, sit, stand, eat, drink, work, think, jump. Anything that you can do is technically a verb. Anything. You can sleep. That's a verb, to sleep. But how do we teach it? It's really not a difficult process, even though I did say it is the most of the three, but it's really not a difficult process. So when you are going about teaching what is a verb, again, make it as concrete as possible. Give your child an opportunity to learn what it means in the real world first, before they have to pick up paper and a pencil to define it, or to describe it, or to show it, or to use it. Go out in the real world and figure it out. And I have a game just for you that will really help with this concept of a verb. And it's called What Is Going On Out There. All right, now if I get my pen to work, we will see two different ways in which this whole idea of a verb can be used. All right, and the first one will be, there we go. The first one will be, what you want to do is grab a number of pictures. Now, I say pictures, but you can do it in different ways. You can get pictures, or you can actually just go outside, or you can sit in your room, or this is a chance, parents, to use those DVRs. Pause the show, and in the middle of the show, you can treat it just as such. All right, and what you're going to do is you're going to point out different people on that picture, that show, or outside, or objects, and then you're going to have your child, if they're able to write, allow them to go ahead and write what that object is doing. But if they're not yet writing, or if they're not yet wanting to write, and that's perfectly fine, allow them to say it out loud, because by speaking it, they're identifying the different types of verbs. So when you look at this picture, and again, this is my picture of a picnic. We have different things, different objects in this picture. We have people. Obviously, the place is a picnic, but we have people, and then we have the dog, which is kind of a thing. What you will do in this situation is you'll then identify different things. So you'll say the dog. And once you say the dog, and I'm just going to circle the dog right here, you're going to say the dog, and then you're going to ask your child, well, what is the dog doing? And try to get 1 to 2 words per example. I'm not going to say try not to allow, but if your child just sits there and starts rattling off sentences, that's perfect. But what we're trying to do is simply identify the verb. So when you say dog, you say, well, what is that dog doing? You provide it in the form of a sentence. So now that they can give you one-word answers. I know we really dislike one-word answers, but in this process, you want one-word answers. So what is the dog doing here? Well, he's hiding. Good, he's hiding. He's staying still. Good, stay. To stay is the verb here. Then you can go to the boy. Right, I'm gonna circle the boy, and you ask the question, well, what's the boy doing? He is sitting, right, or kneeling, He is eating. And those are different types of verbs that you can use to describe. You again use 2 to 5 verbs that you can describe any person, and to give a beginning understanding of verbs. Let's look at the mom here. What's the mom doing? Well, she's staring, right, at the dad. She's standing, right? And then last, let's look at the dad here. What is he doing? He could be talking. He's standing. He is drinking. Different things like that. So this is what you want to do with your child with a number of things. Again, you can go outside and use the real world that they see and point, hey, what is that car doing? It's sitting in the driveway. Good. It's sitting. What's the car doing? It's parked. Good. What's that boy doing? He's running. What's that dog doing? It's sitting. It's drinking. It's eating. All right. So you can use the real world type things that you see every day and allow your child just to identify it, because that's the first part of understanding. Now, when you do get to that process in which it is time to identify verbs in the sentence, what you want to do is you want to, as you see these 5 sentences, you want your child to read through first and then identify, all right, what is showing what the noun is doing in the sentence. So the boy ran all the way home. All right, I'm going to identify the nouns first. And remember, we can use our 5 sentence rule. The boy, I got my boy. Home. Good. Those are the 2 nouns. All right. What is home doing? Well, we don't know, but we can see what the boy is doing, and we're going to circle it. What's the boy doing? Well, he's running. So ran, even though it's past tense, the boy ran. So we've circled the verb and we've underlined the noun. Let's see. I was so hungry last night that I ate all of my vegetables. Well, the noun here that's important for us to know is I. And what did I do last night? Well, I ate. So we're going to circle our verb. All right, the next one. My mom brushes my hair. All right, who's the verb or what's the subject in the sentence? Mom. And what did mom do? Well, she brushes my hair. My dad and I. So there's 2 subjects in here that are important, and I'll try to underline it for you. My dad and I, and what my dad and I do, we cook breakfast for the family. All right. And then the last one, at the gym. What happens at the gym? What does I do? I jump. All right, and so that's the process in which you want to show your child. Again, remember, make it concrete, real life, real world type situation, and then bring it over to the pencil and paper to allow them to identify and then recreate some of these verbs in action. Thank you again for joining me on my Learning Block. Keep learning with me.